gentlemen, the time has come. I call among all simps, join in unification and take revenge of the simp. Simp, 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 simp. She got a new simp. What? She got a new simp. What? She got a new simp. What? She got a new simp. Yeah, simp, 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 simp. We are simp, simp. We are simp. I said she got a new simp. No, she got a new simp. No, she got a new simp. Hey, what is that? What is that? What?
City nigga, I'ma wear this whole ass on.
Hell yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Chicken in the Microwave.
Damn, I'm tired of this.
We lit right now, man.
I am pretty lit. I got tired
I
of
love
this
the
shit, yo.
energy, my brother. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, I go by the name of Pure Knowledge, and right in front of me is the man, the myth, the legend of Simp.
I don't know if I'm the don't say that now. I am the man, the myth, the legend of heartbreaking. Let's go with that. But simping, that's a different story.
I love it, man. I love it. Hey, that energy that you just brought, I love it, man.
Hey, she got a new simp.
Hey, don't forget to start that timer, my boy.
Nah, we're not on the time yet. We're not on our topic yet.
matter
We
of fact,
first
you're
gotta
right.
say hello
Look
to
at me
our
tripping.
fans,
Look at me
everybody on the
tripping.
crowd. What's good with y'all doing? It's good to have you guys listen to us again on episode number 3. If you've been listening to 3 episodes thus far. You know, this past weekend was 4th of July. What'd you do this weekend?
Man, what did I do this weekend? Well, first, we just released this new, our first episode. We definitely released it on new platforms. It was a new experience for me altogether. I haven't had any experience firsthand just kind of dealing with that. But besides that, I had the opportunity to watch the fireworks from Brooklyn. I saw the Times Square fireworks, man.
I did that for the first time. I've been living here for 3 years, and for the first time, I mean, I've seen fireworks, but like, having gone to a crowd of people, it was good. I saw them from Marsha P. Johnson Park, which is in Brooklyn, kind of near the Williamsburg area, if people are familiar with it.
Out of all your time living in New York, what would you say is the best location that you've had so far for fireworks?
For fireworks, it was that spot. I mean, it got busy. Now,
Yeah, you definitely had a hell of a picture.
Look, I got there around, they were supposed to start at 8, so I got there at like 7 o'clock, 7:15.
Right.
And there were already people like crowded there. I got lucky. I went by myself, so I was able to find a single spot to sit down, and I couldn't imagine doing it with like a crowd of people. Like, you definitely would have to get there earlier and like really post up, spend the day at the park and whatnot.
But nah, it sounds like you had a great time. And I saw the picture you took. It was a quality picture. Yeah,
it really was. It was a quality picture.
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. And for the followers and the viewers, I hope you guys all had a wonderful 4th as well. And if you ever want to go ahead and participate, you can definitely send us a DM, a message, whatever you want to do at chicken, the letter N, the microwave on all platforms. And yeah, we'd love to engage with you guys and hear what you guys did. Let's see if you guys watched some fireworks, cooked out. Unfortunately, I didn't get to do any cooking out. I know you did, but
well, I went to Rockaway Beach the day before the 4th, so it was technically the 3rd. But yeah, I grilled out at the beach, spent the weekend, did the most patriotic I could be, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, you did what you're supposed to. That's all. Yeah, that's all.
It was nice to watch the fireworks, but ooh, it is a sad boy summer, man. Were those fireworks hitting me? Do you know how many fucking people were cuddled up looking at
Everybody's
the
out
lights?
here cheering and happy.
It was
just
cute.
drop a tear.
Oh, it was cute. I appreciated looking at all the nice little couples, but also I'm sitting there in the back by myself, like, man, fuck all y'all.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely understand it, man. It's one of those things where everybody's kind of holding hands and look at little Billy, and he's like, "Oh wow, look at the fireworks," and the parents kiss and hug, and you're over there just like, fuck you and your happiness, you know? But, hey, it
is what it is.
It is
we
what it is
having
at the end of the
we
day.
having a sad boy summer. Summertime sadness is in full effect. 99%
Yes,
chance
sir.
of summertime sadness. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a cold summer.
And this is the revenge of the simp, but we definitely going to go ahead and get into that. We have
Revenge of the Simp.
a lot of quality topics to talk about today.
And I'm coming for you.
And so, Nick, how you want to, now that we got the introductions out the way, I see you doing well. How you want to go ahead and get into this story, man? We call this Chicken in the Microwave, and for a couple episodes now, thankfully we made it to 3, and we're going to keep going.
That we have.
But how for the viewers, how did we even come up with such a crazy catching name? Because that's one thing people keep telling me is it's a very
eye-popping and catching name. It's a good title. So how did we even come up with that?
Well, long story short, we were high. Back in the golden days of, high school, especially like pre-weed being legal and everybody cool with it, where you had to like, be quiet and sneaky if you were smoking, especially when you're like still in high school.
I say we were mad young.
When you're in high school, middle
Smoking in
school
the
time,
Apple
like
days.
you think that nobody knows you're smoking, and you're like, man, I gotta keep it a secret, and you
Right.
smell like dank no matter where you go.
Man, I tell you, I was over here clueless to think, okay, yeah, I gotta be sneaky. I gotta be sneaky. I gotta not smell like anything. My dumb ass left a lighter in my pants. And of course, at that time, I was younger. So while my mom's doing laundry and stuff like that, she just finds a lighter in my pocket. And prior to that, there's no smoking history. So, of course, hey, PK, why? She obviously don't call me PK, but for y'all, PK, why you got a lighter in your pocket? And as a kid that has no use for a lighter, oh yeah, Mom, I walked by a store that had candles. I didn't buy any candles, but I bought the lighter in case I haven't. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do with that? But yeah, I think it's definitely a funny time back then.
Yeah, but nonetheless, this nigga has some chicken, and I was hungry, and I'm like recording. I'm like, yo, just put the chicken in the microwave. Put it in the and I keep asking him, and eventually I just raise my voice and I go, put the chicken in the microwave! And this nigga like starts having like a weird seizure stroke, like
because I'm over here like, yo, you got 2 hands, you got 2 feet. Get your ass up and put it in the chicken. Put it in the microwave yourself.
Nonetheless,
and he's over here, put the chicken in the microwave. No, put the chicken in. No.
That shit
story,
is
man.
a long-running inside joke between the two of us. Anytime that we get smiggity smacked, like if it's to that level where it's like I'm floating, I'll just randomly be like, "Yo, put the chicken in the microwave." And when we decided to do this podcast, we were like, "Yo, we need a good title, something eye-popping, something catching that's different, weird." And immediately we thought for a second, looked at each other and went chicken in the microwave.
It's unique. It's unique enough, and I love it because it's a dynamic between my brother here. It's in the sense of, how did you two come up with chicken in the microwave? Instantly, we'll laugh because it makes no sense to anybody else, but it's one of those nods that
with that topic too of us coming up with that title, that was such a, I mean, like I use weed for creativity now. Like I use different kind of, recreational drugs when I'd like to use them for not only just like, I do enjoy going out and having a good time, but really I use drugs to open my mind and kind of experience new routes that I can't see with the common day human eye. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's such an interesting point too, because like, man, the little kid in me, when we had those DARE classes, I literally remember being like, I'll never smoke weed. Why would I ever do that?
Yeah. And
man, how times have changed.
I think that all goes to the mindset. Before I 100% agree with you. And it's funny enough, I don't even want to put you out there, but your ass was the one that got me to start smoking.
Disclaimer. Again, what do we say every episode that we have had thus far and probably will every episode?
Don't take my advice.
Yeah, dude, don't do what I do.
This is probably a terrible idea. We told y'all at the beginning of the podcast before we started.
Every episode is a terrible idea.
A horrible
However,
idea.
it's probably shit you need to hear.
Exactly. We don't keep it 100% real. And I don't even know if you remember this, but yeah, you were one of the first people I smoked with. You got me into smoking. And it was just a culture shock in the sense of before then, it was, like he said, the DARE program. They told you, oh, it's bad for you. It leads to this and it does that. It just came to a day where I had a mindset where I just started to question a lot of things that was told to me. And with that, they say it's going to be bad for you. They say alcohol is bad for you. They say too much this, too much that. One day I just tried it and I realized I didn't lose any arms. I don't feel like smoking crack. It's not one of those things where I just want to escalate to the worst thing. And when you finally start to realize, oh, snap, everything that's been told to me may not necessarily be the truth.
It's the same way I said last episode. We talked about toxicity. Like, everything we do in this world is a little toxic. Yeah. I once watched...
moderation.
Yes, moderation. I once watched this show called Midnight Gospel, if anybody's ever heard of it. It's on Netflix. It's an animation, but it's a very good show. They have these crazy animations in the background, but have very deep topics about, like, death and life and, like, drugs, weapons, guns, all that jazz. Right. Nonetheless, the first episode is talking about drugs and stuff, and basically the character's like, well, There's no such thing as a bad drug. There are just drugs. People can use drugs however they want and choose to. There are
Hell,
clearly,
in that case, your cell
clearly
phone's
you're
a
not.
drug.
Don't go out there doing stuff that's going to literally end your life. But at the same time, that's hard to say because alcohol can end your life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It comes down to the person using it. Just like a gun is clearly it can be dangerous if used incorrectly. But if you have the right procedures, the right training, you're good.
Again,
and same with drugs. It's all
like I
with
said
moderation.
from the start, how I like to use them for recreational activities.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend
Don't go out driving a car or a
Well,
plane.
no, that's not recreational.
We gotta tell the people in case.
But my
everybody
point
thinks
being, like I'm huge into EDM as we talked about in the first episode, and EDM culture tends to have a lot of drug use at the festivals and concerts.
Mm-hmm.
The coolest thing about EDM festivals is that other EDM fans understand that people are going to be out there not knowing what the fuck they're doing, and they're simply there just for the drugs. So you have like a safety net of people watching after you and making sure you're okay. But with that being said, I feel like it kind of disappoints me when I see people like do things that could be fun to the extent that they know their body can't handle. Like not
There's always one person that ruins it for everybody.
even like weed, dude. I've smoked with some people who have told me before, like, I tweak on this, I probably shouldn't, and they do it anyway. Maybe not because of peer pressure necessarily, because no one's telling them to do it, but for the, you know, the FOMO kind of mindset where it's like the fear of missing out. Everybody else is doing this, so now I want to do it too to enjoy. And then they just put themselves in a bad position, and they, because of that, have bad mindsets towards drug use. But like shrooms, for example, and fucking LSD, that shit is like scientifically being researched and would have been continued to be researched back in the 80s if like people didn't shut it
We're
down.
definitely gonna
going
get to an age where it becomes more mainstream.
Well,
and legal,
but
for
my
sure.
point with like psychedelics is they help with like PTSD people. There's a very good introduction,
with like microdosing and such.
Yes, there's a very good introduction documentary to psychedelics on Netflix that has a lot of well-known modern-day celebrities talking about their usage and why they use it.
And everybody reacts to things differently. So let's say, like you said, if you end up taking weed and you feel like you're gonna trip or you're gonna spaz off of it, then don't do it by all means. But it all comes with understanding your body and understanding what works best for you. So
I truly believe, and I have this conversation with family members, sometimes close friends. Like clearly, weed today is legal. It's going to be like
I think it's
sold
a great thing.
in many. Yes, but that's not my point. I don't want to
Yeah.
get into weed right now. I'm talking more on the heavier topics. I definitely like. I feel like my third eye has been open since taking psychedelics a few times here or there, and like going on trips to understand myself on a deeper level. And
I can agree with that.
like shrooms, for example, shrooms are naturally grown. They're catered and taken care of the same way that people grow weed, because those people that are growing it care about what they're growing. They want it to be good shit, and that is you can't do it when you're not ready. You have to be ready and prepared to open your third eye. Opening your third eye is a huge step in life, but once you do, you see the world in a different way that you might not have even considered.
The only thing I will say, as far as wanting everybody to try it once in their life, as good as that sounds,
I didn't say one. I think I truly believe people should. I don't want people to.
Okay, well, sure.
I'm not telling people go out buy shrooms now, but I'm saying
I rephrase.
if you have the opportunity to and you're in a good place, why not?
I agree, and I think a big factor with that though. Comes to open-mindedness, and there's certain people who I don't want to say aren't necessarily creative, or they I don't know necessarily how to describe it, but some people like living in a world that is told how to be lived in. If
Comes
that
down
makes
to the
sense.
Matrix, bro. You're taking the red pill or the blue pill.
Exactly.
You know what I
And
mean?
for the people who
that's literally a drug,
for
bro.
the people who want to expand and understand more than what is shown, then absolutely dive into it with, of course, safety. But I definitely understand why the other side may not want to, because it's like you said, the red pill, blue pill. If you want to go ahead and live a world where you're told that this is what it is and you feel that's what you're comfortable, then by all means. But I'm right there with you in the sense of having your eye opened and understanding that there is more to life and wanting to see who I am and what is around me. And definitely, like you said, it's led to a lot of great things. And I'm not going to go ahead and sit here and advertise like, oh, it's 100% amazing. There are some ups and downs to everything. But I will say
anything you do in life has an up and down.
100%. And
Just-
that's
it
just
depends
the
on how you
balance
bounce
of
back
things.
from it.
But I do say that there is a lot of benefits from a lot of these natural things we have here.
Again, natural. Like, yes, I dip and dabble in a lot of different things, you know, because I want to understand them. I understand psychedelics because I've tried them myself.
Right.
I understand MDMAs because
see,
I've
that's
tried
what's the
them
most
myself.
important part. At least you tried it to have an opinion. A lot of people condemn it without even trying it.
Like the thing about this world is, as I say this all the time, we are here to live in the moment, not in the past, not in the future. Again, this whole conversation has been about the safety and good use of recreational drugs. And yes, shit can go bad if you don't prepare and take care of yourself. But again, if you're just in a place of, especially with marijuana, again, I think this whole topic is huge right now because that's legal, which only is going to lead to legalization of more drugs.
Yeah. I'm an advocate of choice. So if you want to go ahead and indulge, by all means. But my side, I'm more of an advocate for everything natural, such as like marijuana, mushrooms, more man-made stuff. That's when I would say be a little more cautious and it gets a little more tricky because that's when things are starting to be played with and you don't necessarily always know what you're getting into. But at least I'm not going to condemn it and saying no, by all means. Have an open mind to things. But
even if you don't do them, at least open your mind to your friends that tell you about their experiences because you can learn something from
don't
it
be
that
so
might be
fooled
able
by
to
the
help
propaganda
somebody.
that you see.
Yeah, dude, people used to, there was a movie called Reefer Madness where literally back in the 50s, people were smoking weed. You might jump out your window and commit suicide if you smoked it too much. That's like how media wanted to show people that weed wasn't good for you. My handle right now is Painful Productions. I'd like to turn that into an LLC. You know, I really want to. My goal is to one day, once my career as an artist really takes off.
For the people back home, how did you come up with that great name right there?
Well, it's crazy. I was on a little trip, but I was taking a trip.
Right.
I was just, you know, I was at a time where.
Were you alone in the room? Or?
No, I was with my
Paint the
lovely
paint the setting for
I was with
us.
my lovely co-host here, Pure Knowledge.
I was there? That's crazy.
We lived together, so yes, you were there.
Wow. The more you know.
Nonetheless, it was actually one of his first trips. I've been around for a lot of his first time and things because I just like, you know, I like taking
He's
care
my
of
bad
people.
influence,
I'm a travel guide. Like
Yeah.
I make sure that people have a good time because I understand how to take care of myself. So I want to make sure that other people are good too.
Once
Nonetheless,
you get on the trip, that's another topic because your ass gets
exactly.
dark.
Nonetheless, we were just having a good trip, and he was like, "Yo, you know, what if you like did something with your last name and made it like change your IG or something?" And we were just
What was
chatting
it
up.
before that?
It was just the Nick Payne. That's
Okay.
just how I went all the time.
Okay.
And then I said like, yeah, something like that goes well with pain. Painful Productions. Oh, and then the rest is history. Now, like I said, I want to make an LLC out of it. Like, I got goals once I start my career as an artist that hopefully help other artists
like last
enjoy
podcast,
it. So
other shit to chase.
other shit to chase.
Hey, look,
baby.
I wasn't
got
even.
dreams,
I wasn't
baby.
even gonna do it. I'm a very humble dude. I gotta say, man. At the end of the day, for everything they say bad about recreational drugs, I gotta give it. That wouldn't have happened without it.
Again, like I said about the third eye, it just gives you a different perspective on the world and makes you want to think differently.
I will say to that, the thing that people may not be aware of, once you open that third eye, be careful of what you see.
It's true. I mean, that's the risk of it. That's and again, like you said, and I've said, everything comes with a give and take. You cannot give in this world without taking. You cannot take in this
Amen,
world
brother.
without giving.
Amen.
So if you're going to dip and
Hey, what's
dabble in
that
the
tattoo you
recreational,
got? What's that tattoo?
oh, with sacrifice comes justice. You
Oh,
see
I
this?
like the sound of that.
You know what I mean? Shit gets hard in this world, and sometimes we have to
When is it
sacrifice
easy,
things
man?
that we don't want to sacrifice, but that means that something good is going to come out of it. That has nothing to do with taking drugs, but
Oh, I do know what it does talk about, though. As you guys may know, I can't really talk. What you just said, say that again. The sacrifice something that you, what? Sacrifice something that you don't want to. Say that again.
you can just read it. It's on my arm.
No, not that. You said you're going to, okay. To paraphrase, I think what you said was, as sometimes with sacrifice comes justice, you have to give up something that you don't want to.
Oh,
for something
this
that
world is a give and take. You have to give to take, and you have to take to give. You know what I mean?
Right.
So-
Okay. With that, me and you, we've been talking, and with the sacrifice, sometimes that sacrifice is love, right? You may meet somebody that you find to be amazing, and you meet them, like we've talked about previously on other podcasts. You just meet them at the wrong time. We got other things to do. We got dreams to chase, right? Let's say now you have to go ahead. Sadly, the day comes where you have to let them know you've been great, but I have to go. How do
You have been great,
matter of fact,
but I got to be great.
I put it in a song. If you guys would love to hear it, It's called Avoidance by Pure Knowledge.
It's a pretty good song.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm sure you're probably great.
I'm not just saying that. That's like on my playlist. I mean, I am just saying it because I'm saying it. But like,
hey, you love to hear it, man. So look, I'm sure you're probably great, but I got to push away. In the sense of, you meet somebody great. My question to you, Payne, how do you get over that period where you like them and you love them maybe, but you still got to go? Like, what do you do? How do you deal with it?
Well, when it comes to going, you also have to also ask yourself the question, like, should you stay for who they could become, or like, do you leave for who they currently are? And that comes down to the answer of like going. You know what I mean? Because if you're gonna go, you're going for a reason. If you are the one that's choosing to leave, which we've talked about, track star Jesse Owens right here. I'm pretty good at doing that. Nonetheless, yeah, that's a tough question because, like, when you leave somebody, most of the time it is like, well, you could make the decision to stay and fight and try to work on whatever is wrong, but is anything going to change? And that's the question that you really have to answer yourself, is like the little things that bother you, the things that get you like, oh, I don't like this about him or her, or I don't like this about him or her. You know, those are little things that might not be changeable, and you might have to just accept and, you know, learn to love that person for who they are if you want to love them. But again, it comes down to like, is that a priority in your head, your own personal head, when it comes down to leaving people? Are you leaving people because of who they are, or because they won't become who you want them to
and
become?
You gotta be caught up, or you gotta be cautious enough not to get caught up in the moment, you know? Like, hell, I might not like how you just took that sip of drink or whatever. I say that, and then next thing you know, you start changing how you sip your drink. That might be a momentarily thing that you change, and then you're right back to your ways.
But see, that's the tricky part about it, is because you do have to kind of be in the moment, because that's kind of the only time that
I think
matters.
you took one part of my question. You didn't hear the other half. Yes, be in the moment. But what I'm saying is, just like you said, you would want them to change for the better, but make sure that they don't change just in that moment is what I'm saying. Make sure that change is long term. Because you don't want them to change.
Well, that goes to my point.
And
when I said before, is like, will that actually change? You know what I mean? I get that in the sense of not being in the moment, but like...
What changed? Their behavior or the situation?
Whatever you want to... Whatever is bothering you.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. You shouldn't make anybody change who they are. Who they are is who they are, and who they're always going to be.
100%.
And that's like a beautiful thing about life.
Right.
However, there's compromises in relationships, and you have to either be willing to confront your partner about them and say, like, we have to work on this, or you have to make the decision, like, oh, they're just not going to understand me / I'm not going to understand them, so it's just better that we go our separate ways.
And that comes with stubbornness, I've learned. Sometimes we think of, oh, well, they're not going to change, they're not going to get me, I'm out. Or I look for the first reason to dip sometimes, just because that's from previous experience. So I don't know, man. It gets difficult because I've been in a situation where you would stick around and you hope for them to change, and then you realize the only fool is you for hoping.
Yeah.
And then you leave too early, and next thing you know, you miss out on somebody great. So.
Okay, so let me ask you as a follow-up to that answer.
Yeah.
Do you believe in winners and losers? Like, there is a winner, there is a loser in the post-relationship. Like, let's say, like, all right, so
100%, yes. I do.
I'm not. Look, I wanna say her name and shout her out, but I also know that because I know exes that might both be listening to this, I don't want to use names. I don't want to be like this person, that person.
Yeah.
But I do have a very good friend who recently she just met somebody, and I'm not gay, but that. She won. Like, I'm looking at that dude and I'm like, that dude's a Greek god. Like, bro, I don't know.
That's a talk.
You know what I mean?
A talk.
I'm like, yo, when I know what a good looking guy looks like when I see a good looking guy, and
that
you just won with that.
It's one thing to be like, all right, well, fuck it. We broke up. At least I'm doing better. And the only way you're going to do better is if you're with me, whatever the case is. That's toxic as hell. I know. That's not how I actually think. But I'm saying in the mindset of a guy, you're like, oh, I want you to do well, but not better than me. But once you find that guy and you're like, damn, I got to admit,
But my point being is, like, does that necessarily, even though she feels like a winner, does that necessarily mean that they're, like, the guy is a loser?
Feel in that moment?
Well, I can't see that.
Oh, actually, no, you're not.
I can say both of them are winners because they're both now very happy in other relationships.
100%.
But it's just interesting to that because I look at her and I'm like, yo, you upgraded. Like, you definitely, like, that's crazy. That is, like I said, like, what? Where did you come from?
I think it's all at the timing that you asked because...
and that's just based off of looks. I don't know anything about that.
Of course, because
maybe
she
didn't
terrible
win.
guy.
Maybe he's just so
a lot
much
of times
worse.
it'll be a situation like this where you like that girl and you're like, man, I want to give her all my time. But then look, she's focused on that guy and he's not even worried about her.
Hey. Who knew evil girls had the prettiest face?
Hey,
it's the same
juice, man.
for guys too. I am a pretty motherfucker and I am terrible. You know what I mean?
I'm pretty sure you. So
I gotta get
back to your point. I'm sure you did what you're supposed to in the part of leaving everybody toxic because it's a domino effect. Somebody leaves, the good guy who wasn't a simp, or actually no, the good guy who was a simp. You leave him destroyed and torn, and next thing you know, he's gonna be an asshole to the next girl. But I want to get back to your question. You asked me a question of who's a winner or the loser, or is there a winner or the loser? I think at the time that you ask, it may feel like one person's a winner and one's a loser. But realistically, I feel like you're both winners because at the end of the day, if you can walk away with the lesson, exactly. If you can walk away learning something from the previous person that you could take away to the next relationship, whether it be with yourself or a partner, then you won.
See, I just say that because I personally feel like I lost. I just say I feel
you don't feel like you lost. You just lost her.
No.
Why do you feel like you lost
her? I feel like I lost
the
the motivation to just love anybody. Like, I mean, I feel so good about myself and what I'm doing, but like I lost. Like I talk about all the time. Like I see couples that are very happy and they're cute and whatnot, and I'd love to do it myself, but like it's not even a factor of that I don't think I can find anybody. It's a factor of I don't want to find somebody, and that is.
Then what did you lose?
The want to find somebody. That's all I wanted my entire life. My entire life growing up, I just wanted to take care of somebody and love somebody. And I didn't really care if somebody loved me or not. Like, that'd be a nice plus. But, like, I feel like I'm loved when somebody allows me to love them.
I think it's going to be like that, what they say with your dreams. What if you get all your dreams and you finally realize that it's not what you want? Like, you get that. Love is kind of hard because...
I don't think dreams are like love.
Yeah, everybody at one point in time wants love.
But you know what I mean? Like, I
feel
feel
like... You
said
said something to me. You say a lot of great quotes, my brother.
It's all off the top of the dome, too. I do find a lot of good quotes online, but a lot of the shit I say...
playing footsie.
I'm not playing footsie. He's playing footsie.
I'm the one saying you playing footsie, so I declined your invitation to play footsie.
You know,
this ain't
whoever smelt it dealt it, bro.
All right, bro. I see.
Nonetheless, back to the topic. Yeah, I just feel like I lost in the sense
she
of
probably.
Like,
you know why you single?
And you know what too? I mean, I don't know if she's happy.
You know why you single, nigga? Because you probably the type to hog the cover.
Actually, not at all. I'll give somebody the entire cover and I'll lay up and look at the ceiling and not say a word and I'll think about it. I'll like think about how I'm like, man, I really want that fucking cover, but like I won't say anything.
So that's how toxic you are. Instead of just asking for cover, you're gonna be like, this bitch took the cover now. But I want to like tomorrow. I'm gonna sit like.
I mean, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I do get mad and I plot a little bit, but I don't do anything about it.
Just ask her the cover.
But she's so. Like, if I'm with somebody and they have the cover and they look cute and they're
you're like, oh,
I'm not
you're
gonna
so
bother
peaceful
them.
you sleep, but I'm actually going to destroy you and plan your demise when you wake up.
No. I didn't say all that. I'm not going to plan any demise because I didn't get a cover, but I'm going to be salty all night because I was cold.
So she going to wake up, you salty, and she not going to know why. You just,
I'm gonna make a slight remark. I'm going to be like, yo, you looked warm last night with all them blankets
That's
on
crazy. That's crazy.
And she's going to respond, that's crazy.
Everything you do instead of just asking for a cover. You see that?
Because I like to make sure people feel bad about it.
That's crazy.
That's the toxicity in me. I mean, I know they shouldn't feel bad about it, but something in me says I feel bad because I don't have
Literally,
it. So
instead
now
of just asking for a
bad.
cover, you want to add the extra layer of making another person feel bad.
And that's why I have problems because then I always start fights that I shouldn't start. And I know I shouldn't
you
start
might have just
them.
answered your
I know I shouldn't start
air.
them. Every time I start a fight that I had an ex one time who bought me some Mucinex when I was in college, and I like really needed it. And
tell me you didn't start an argument.
No, I didn't start an argument, but I didn't take it home. I forgot it in her apartment, and the next time I saw her, she was really upset about the fact that I didn't take that Mucinex. Yeah. And because she was upset, I was like, it was just fucking Mucinex. Like, why do you
Oh, no, I'm mad now. Bitch, run my money. Fuck.
And it was really bad.
Fuck, and I hope your
really
mucus stay there.
But I knew I shouldn't have said it was just Mucinex. I should have just said, I'm sorry, I should have taken it. I just totally forgot. And instead I said, it was just Mucinex.
Yeah. Don't ever call that girl ever again when you need anything.
It's okay. I'm mad.
Oh my gosh, I'm missing an arm. It's just an arm.
See, remember last episode where I was like, one of my exes, I hope she's happy. The other one I care less for. Yeah, that's the one that could care less. She cares less for me too. So
I hope you're doing well if you listen to this. We sent you
whatever. Nonetheless,
but yeah,
I don't know. To kind of wrap it up in the sense, like, I don't know. This all just has to do with moving on from a heartbreak. You know what I mean? Like, how do you? That's the question of the day. I feel like.
Well, okay. My question to you then. I asked earlier. I'm gonna ask it in a different way. So, in a quick way, do you feel there are winners and losers in a relationship, or everyone's a winner?
I think everybody's a winner because you learned something.
Agreed.
However, in your own head, that's your decision to decide if you're a loser or a winner. I think I'm a loser because I'm not with anybody right now. Like, if it comes down to relationships, no, it doesn't. That's why I'm a winner, because I found myself.
More of a winner because you're bold enough to stand within yourself.
Well, that's true. I found myself. I understand myself better than ever.
Somebody.
Like, I'm at the top of my game right now when it comes to just my self-indulgence and understanding how I work.
That's why a lot of relationships fail, for that exact reason. Somebody wants to be with somebody and they can't face that they need to be alone, so they'll just get with somebody else.
And that's why I ran away this last time, because I just knew I had to focus on myself and get to where I am now. However, I'm not with anybody, and again, it's like, not only am I not talking to people, when I do talk to people, like, it's really hard for me to show interest in a sense of let's continue this.
In the back of your head, I have the same issue. Like, I know you're gonna leave. Or be gone at some point.
I like flirting to see if I'm still good at it and I can pull it off. But when it comes down to hanging out, I
was about to say I'm the worst at that. I flirt and be like, I'm the one that initiates plans, and then when it comes time, I'm just like, oh wait, I actually have to follow through.
Yeah, I'll be like, you cute, what's good? Let me get your number, this and that. And then if she expects me to text her first, I'm like, we had fun when I met you, and like, I still got it, but I don't know if I want it. So it's just, like, but is that the only way to get over a heartbreak? Just to find another heart to break?
Nah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, not to say that you're finding the heart to break, but chances are you're just falling in love to do it over again.
I was gonna say actually opposite. The only way to get over a heartbreak is to get your heart breaking even worse by somebody else.
I don't know.
Then you think about that one less,
man.
Basically, because I tell you the story was I was going through a period where I just didn't fuck with anybody, and I finally met somebody, and they were just like, you can't judge somebody like they're the last person, you got to have an open slate for people. And then they fucking crushed me worse than the person before. And
that's crazy, ain't it?
It is, because I even gave them a trigger warning. I said, please, just be careful, because I'm a really good dude. If you rub me the wrong way, if you do the things that you shouldn't be doing, man, I can't say by the end of this, I'm not going to turn into Future Junior. I'm trying to be a real humble and respectful man. And she was just, okay, disregarded. So I respect to her, salute to the queen, but I got to say, city boys, we up now. And I'm not even out here trying to be on I'm about to smash everything that I could find. It's more so on the mindset of, if, like I say in avoidance, if you're good for me, oh, that's crazy, because you just came a little bit too late. I'm sorry, love. We got no rooms for that.
Yeah, you can say that again. We got no rooms for that.
But I don't know. To answer your question of how to get over it, I don't know. Put it this way,
too. I don't know. I think what I've found out how to get over heartbreaks in two different ways.
It's always just a moment.
My first heartbreak was really hard for me. I got stabbed in the heart and in the back at the same time. Basically, one of the really close friends of mine fucked my ex because she got mad at me. And that was that fuck shit I was talking about last time. And then they both kind of just like didn't put the blame on themselves. Whatever, it's a long story. But because of that, I went to a certain place. And until, I followed that and waited for that girl for a long time.
Why do the people who cheat always end up acting like they don't cheat?
Man, who cares? They're fucking cheaters. A cheater's a cheater. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't learn how to get through school.
They don't even acknowledge it. They always try to justify.
And that's another topic for another time. We can get into cheating next weekend. Next episode. That's a whole topic in itself. However, basically, I was feeling like I could not get this girl off my mind, and I think I got over that heartbreak. Yes, by like meeting other people, hanging out, but it wasn't until my last ex that I truly forgot about the previous ex. You know what I mean? Because I again found another heart to end up breaking eventually. And this time, I was the one that, it wasn't bad. I didn't stab her.
It's funny how you left, but you ended up with the heart. I don't know. Do you think she had more heartbreak than you?
Yes, because I know what that feels like. Because
even now?
On the other side, 100%. I don't know about even now.
Because I would say maybe
I did it to
you.
myself. No.
Because yours is prolonged.
No. It doesn't matter. I did it to myself. That's what sucks about it. When you're on the side that somebody does something to you, you're just,
Fair.
it is what it is. You
Fair.
have no choice because they were the ones that chose to.
I got you.
I was the one that chose to tell her I'm leaving. So
I got you.
I can never even compare her pain to mine. You know what I mean? I could never say that I had it worse than her because I chose to leave.
I understand.
I might have it bad now, but again, I put myself in this grave.
That.
I got to sit in it.
At least you're accountable.
Exactly, and some people aren't. And it is what it is. That's how I feel like you get the lesson out of it. You had to be accountable to learn a lesson. But my point being, with my second time learning how to get over heartbreak, it's just been an understanding of kind of just learning that this is, I feel like, the way my life is. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to admit and accept that. Not that I don't think, like, I'm not saying I'm unlovable. Like, clearly people love me and they have loved me. But at the same time, am I truly capable of maintaining a relationship? Like, that even goes on to friendships. That goes on to business relationships. That goes on to everything. Like, I don't know, man. That's a hard question for me that I feel like I've just had to understand. Maybe I am just a lone wolf. And if people want to follow me and do the things that I do and get inspired by me, then that's great. But I think I have to stop believing. I mean, you always need people in your help to support you and get you through shit, but I think I need to stop relying on others to put me in places for myself.
Yeah.
Like, when it comes down to my career and art shit, clearly support each other who are creatives, artists, and put each other on each other's backs. And, like, we got to support each other until we make it. But when it comes down to just myself and understanding, like, how to move around in this world, it's been kind of tough. Like you said, it's heartbreak season right now.
But
we having a sad boy summer.
You're one
so
of the lucky ones because you're gifted enough to come to that realization that you do need to stop putting people in that position.
I came through that realization from doing things that I don't want to do anymore. Not that I didn't want to do, but I don't want to do anymore. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
see, at least now you know that you don't want to do that anymore. Some people will, one, not know that, or two, they will and continue. So the fact that you at least made the mistake, I wouldn't even call them mistakes, but as, the fact that you did everything that you needed to do to look back and learn the lesson for it, as fucked up and as much as it hurts, it definitely needed to happen, all with purpose. But
well, what about you? How do you get over shit?
I keep busy. I try to keep busy in the sense of always having some type of activity. Sometimes I hit you up. We'll share over our darkness, kind of talk through it. But a lot of times, if I'm keeping it 100, I don't. I kind of sweep it. I've gone through a lot of different things where it's been difficult and I haven't had a chance to actually process and deal with it. So that's one of those things where if it comes with heartbreak, I try to keep busy and try to keep distracted until I just can't be distracted anymore.
Yeah.
And eventually,
True.
I don't know. It'll either go two ways to where when you really care about that person, I've had my days where I break. I'm not even going to lie. I remain strong and I do everything I can. But yeah, you just, the most, you told me something, the most hurt and torn people want to give the most love unto others. And when that
because they don't want other people to feel as hurt as they have.
Exactly. And when I'm a Taurus, and I know some people don't really care about the zodiacs and all that, but me specifically, we'll even take zodiacs away from it. Mm-hmm. When I involve with somebody, I care about them a lot because I naturally just care about people. So when I involve in you and you either leave or my heart's broken or whatever the case is, I care a lot more than most would, or I can't even say than they would, mainly because I don't meet a lot of great people a lot of times. I'm a person that's not necessarily lonely, but I don't deal with it.
You got to remember, too, that's why, like, you saying, like, I'm unlike most people. Like, that's who we make these podcasts for. People that are listening to this are like us, too. You know what I mean? So, like, it might be that most people actually are like this. It's just that, like you said, most people don't discuss or talk about it. So,
and that's why I'm glad we're doing this.
You know what I mean?
So, yeah.
So, people, it's all... I'll say it like this.
I'll let you know when I find out. How about that?
Post this, as I've said about just finding myself and recreating myself and understanding that I'm going to be alone. I like to think of it this way. Anakin doesn't remain anymore. I am all that remains. Revenge of the Simp, bitch. You know what I mean? It's like that. Like whoever I was before, unfortunately, that nigga kind of died, and I killed him. You know what I mean?
And that's something that I would love to just talk about this, not even stay on too much, but I just want to say this. They always think that when you break up, the guy's the asshole. If he doesn't reach out or whatever, he doesn't care. When I tell you that...
Because men are trash, right?
That ideology is so wrong. In the sense of, I can even speak for myself. I'm in a position where I want to speak to somebody. I hope they're doing well, and I just want to talk to them. But I know how much hurt would come from that. So I have to do the right thing to stay away from them as much as I want to actually be around them. And a lot of times, people don't understand that, or they don't even think about that perspective. They think if you're gone, then you just don't care. But yeah, I think that sometimes the unspoken...
It is what it is.
It is what it is. The unspoken is unspoken.
Exactly, you know? Yeah, I don't know. Relationships are a tricky thing, man. And we've been talking about them past 2 episodes, actually. As you know, it is hard to break a season right now. At least it is for me.
Right.
I'm
all right. I'm feeling all right. I'm not looking for love. That's one thing I always say. I'm not looking for love, so I can't get my heart broke.
I'm not going to really say I'm necessarily all right. I'm kind of not really living life, bro. I'm just kind of surviving it at this point. You know?
I think that's what it is. I say I'm all right because I'm used to the bullshit. If this was the beginning of the movie, I would say, well, this is a horrible time. But, you know, I'm used to a lot of things that have been coming my way. And it's one of those things where it's just like, well, that shouldn't be happening to me, but it is. So I guess that's good content.
But again, life sucks, so we have to make the best out of it. That's what I try to remind myself every day, you know? And I saw something the other day on IG. It was a stupid little meme with Young Lean on it. But it just said, everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, then it's not the end.
Yeah, I like that.
That's good to just make yourself think, like, if you're going through a tough time, you're going to, just like an arrow, dude, you got to pull an arrow back to, like, gain power, right? Yeah. And all that tension, all that pressure you're getting, that shit is, like, hard to hold on to, but as soon as you let that shit go, it flies. You know what I mean? And if you aim right, if you put all that pressure in it and you keep on holding tight and you aiming, you're going to hit the bullseye, bro. So
I might have
it's all just a matter of time.
When you said that, I imagined punching somebody in the face.
Well, that too.
Like
if
you just hold it back and bah!
Yeah, if you got hands like that, you know?
That's what God made.
Ask me about my hands, bro. Ask me about my hands.
And my fingers. They both work.
Somebody said, what about your hands? Right in the face.
You make that noise.
And someone else said, someone want to play catch. Well, I threw these hands, and it's not my fault they got knocked out. They said they want to play catch.
This man.
Oh, man.
So my question, I had a situation that I want to ask you about. How do you deal with... All right. So when you have, let's say you have a goal, me and you, I'll give you a scenario. For the people who have friends that they want to either go on an adventure with, maybe go on a vacation, maybe you want to go ahead and start a business even. How do you maintain being friends, or how do you make sure that what you're doing, like your business, your content, your trip, whatever you're doing, how do you make sure that does not affect your friendship once money starts coming in?
It depends on why you built that relationship in the start, I think. I mean, look, if you build a relationship off of business from the start because you think someone else is a good artist or creator / the vice versa, they feel the same way about you, then that's how the relationship's always going to be. Right. Even if you do build a friendship from it, from day one, you were business partners. It's kind of the same way you got to think about, like...
should be expected to be all about
You got to think about the same way, like, when you meet a girl. Like, if you guys just hang out and are friends on the first date and you don't do anything, then there's a good chance that you could be friends. But if you're kissing and hooking up on the first date, that's kind of what it is. Like, it's that or it's nothing. You know what I mean? So it's the same way you got to think about business. Like, if you're meeting somebody for the sense of...
I just had a thought.
Oh, let's say you were at a club or a bar with fellow artists that you know and you just happen to meet some of their friends and you guys connect and it turns out that friend makes videos, that's different. That's different from me. Yes, eventually you build a business off of a friendship versus building a friendship off of a business.
I would say if you meet them like that, that would be business.
Nah, if I met them at a club and I didn't know they made videos and we got into conversation about them making videos, then it's like, oh, that's cool, you make videos, but I initially like talking to you because of who you are. And
but the conversation is about the videos.
Sure, the conversation would be about anything you want, but you see my point. Like, if I met somebody at work and they're like, oh, I make videos too, hit me up, versus I met somebody, I learned that they also are creative, and then we end up vibing together. That the initial start of how you meet somebody could determine where it could go.
Fair, I understand.
That's the answer to your question. You know what I mean? That's how you separate it. Yes. But once you're into you also got to understand, like, once business starts to grow,
I guess the factor is, would you hang out with that person and like go to the park if there weren't videos included?
Yes.
Then yes, that is a friend.
You know what I mean? But again, even if videos aren't included, like, if they're creative and they don't do videos or they do anything, like, it comes down to you guys connect because you both are in the same realm, you're in the same world. So clearly you can help each other out with career-wise. But to answer, to go even deeper into questions, what happened when success comes, well, it's how did you build it from the start? Because if that person is somebody that needed you to get to a specific level and you are not keeping up with them, then there's a good chance that maybe they don't cut you off as a friend and they keep in touch with you, but in the sense of working together, that might be a slippery slope because there's a chance for them to work with more experienced, like, you know, high professional people. But it's like, that's the business relationship of it. As you start as business is, well, I'm now bigger than what we were. Mm-hmm. But if you start as a friend, that person ends up even if they weren't creative before and they turned into a creative through the years you guys learning each other. Like, I got this boy back at home that I would love to turn into my manager if I really made it, just to put him on and help him out, like, do some creative stuff in his own world.
Right.
But I'm doing that because he's one of my closest friends. And no matter what, no matter how big I get, I always would like to support him if I could.
No, my question, being that he is your boy, let's say you come into a conflict, he wants you to do something you don't want to. How do you deal with that?
Do something in the sense of what, though?
He has a role that he wants you to do. You say no. He says, I really want you to do it. You said, I'm really not doing it. You guys get into an argument.
That wouldn't...
I'm giving you a hypothetical.
I know, but that's my point. With this type of friend, with my boy, that wouldn't happen. We would at least discuss it and consider other options versus somebody I've just worked with before who likes my shit, and we've worked together a couple times, and then they're like, yo, I really want you to do this. And if the script was ass, my boy wrote an ass script, and I really didn't want to be in it, but I knew that me being in this film would help encourage other people on set to do it, and I know it would really be helping him out. Because I'm his friend and I want him to just feel good about himself, yeah, I'd do it if I had the time, regardless of the money. But again, if it was somebody that I just knew who was looking for an easy bone because I'm somebody that's big and they needed me to be in it, that's an easy no, bro. Like, I don't know you like that. Like, you know what I mean? But again, it comes down to did I start a friendship for business or did I start a friendship?
Sounds like communication. Right?
Yeah.
And having that being that, hopefully you guys been friends, not that actual person, but the person that you would have the relationship with, the friendship with, hopefully you guys are good enough where you can kind of communicate and work through it. That's what it sounds like based on once the success comes. I know a lot of times money and fame can change a lot of different people. But we're hoping that, in the sense of you being that close with them or you having some kind of understanding that you guys can kind of communicate and work through it. So hopefully that gives some insight to that. But,
it's just, it's, again, relationships, whether they are, today we've talked about a whole bunch of different relationships, whether they are business relationships, whether they are intimate relationships, whether they are friendship relationships, like, they all come with what did I say from the beginning, a give and a take. You cannot take half without giving half.
Balance.
And every relationship, whether it is a love relationship or a work relationship, they require a part of you. You know what I mean? Like, doing this podcast requires me to put in the effort, the time, the mindset, the heart. You know what I mean? I can't just show up and talk and, like, be monotone, like, not want to do this because then it sounds shit. Yeah. I had to actually want to be interested about talking about what I'm talking about. And I had to give half to feel like I'm receiving half, which I do feel like I'm receiving half, not only from you, but from the podcast in general. Like, everything about this feels good.
Well, it's not required, but it's appreciated.
Yes.
You can definitely tell the difference in those who don't.
Yes, and I'll say that about every relationship. No relationship requires it, because you could be an asshole and date somebody for years and then break up with them 8 years later and you never really gave half of yourself to that person. However, it is very much appreciated and builds very healthy relationships when you actually commit part of yourself to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the tricky part about why you have to be careful, specifically when it comes to love interest, but yes, also business as well. You got to be careful about who you want to put your time into, because at the end of the day, you shouldn't be wasting your time if you know you're wasting it. You know what I mean? Like, I know sometimes we have to give people chances and we have to experience things and learn new things, but if at the start of something you feel like it's not a good idea, yet you do it anyway just for the purpose of building a relationship, like, think twice, bro. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whoever you are, like, don't live in the moment. Yes. At the same time, understand the moment you are in. You know what I mean? Like, don't just do something because you want to do. Like, be like, okay, well, here I am now. I could do this. I could do that. What do I want to do? You know what I mean? Not just like, I'm going to do this. Fuck the other one. Like, consider your options. I feel like that's something that I haven't done too much in the past, and I've definitely learned a lot more since I've been on my own and, like, focus on myself. But, yeah.
All we can do is the best we can. And with the lessons that we've been taught, try not to make the same mistakes and go into it looking to make the next person feel good, but also not compromise your own morals and who you are. So I think, honestly, that's going to be my life, my work, my weekly words. Make sure what you're doing is adding positive value to others if you can. Understand that everyone may not like you, but at the end of the day, if you're leaving something positive towards your legacy, then you're doing the best you can. Don't expect to have all the answers already, because then you don't go in. I'll give an example. I'm good at metaphors. You don't play a video game for it to be beaten by the time you press start, you know? Then what's the point? You need to have the journey. So go into it expecting to mess up, expecting to learn new things, because that's the beauty and enjoyment of life.
Yeah, totally. I like those wise words. And, you know, this is something we like to do to bring our podcast to a close every week, just to make sure you guys leave on a good note. My wise words of the week are, they're kind of, you know, how I've been reminding myself to know that I'm doing exactly what I need to do. You can only be truly free if you aren't afraid to lose your mind. And what I mean by that is sometimes the hardest things for us to realize, the toughest shit for us to go to, the things that just make us crazy, insane, want to scream out loud and just say, fuck this world and all that inhabit it, all that kind of shit, you got to be willing to indulge in it, because you're thinking about it for a reason. And yes, you might be, quote unquote, losing your mind and feeling like you're going crazy, but you're not going crazy. You're finally learning and teaching yourself about the things that you've been scared to understand. And when you lose your mind and you finally understand a little bit more about what causes you to even get in that state, to even be in that place, well, at that point, the shackles are broken and nothing else can harm you. You know what I mean? Because what did Tyler say in that album? Call me when you get lost.
Hey.
Once you're lost and you're free to do whatever you want without ever feeling the need to go back to something. You know what I mean?
As long as you're doing exactly what you want to do it in the way that you want to do it, then nobody can be mad at you.
Nothing in this world comes free, so we make ourselves free.
Amen, brother. Amen.
But with that, I think that's a really solid way to. I think we had a good talk this week, episode 3. I mean, these things are feeling very good. I really enjoy sitting down and talking about this. When we always meet up on Thursdays and talk about like what we're going to talk about pre-podcast, and PK made a good point. He was like, "These are just weekly therapy sessions with the boys."
Yeah, because honestly, we're in the period. We've known each other for a long time. That's why when we asked the question, not only how do you make a friendship work with business and all that, how do you make a friendship work that's changed over so many years? Like, me and you both have changed individually, dramatically.
Yes, very much.
And we still somehow managed to remain cool. Obviously, that takes some work with it. But, yeah, I lost my point a second ago. But I basically,
He basically said we're friends.
That
Friends to
definitely was
the
not
end.
point. That definitely was not the point.
Best friends.
Go ahead and
We're the two best friends
I lost
that
it. I
anyone
lost
could
it.
have. We're the two best friends that anyone could have.
My
We're
dog,
the
I
two
don't
best
even
friends
claim
that
you
anyone
at
could
all in any sort
have.
of way.
Oh my
You see
God,
this?
I was so off pitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on social media at pure_knowledge. You can find all our platform social media links at chicken, the letter N, the microwave. Payne, where can they find you?
Probably on my bed eating ice cream, crying this summer.
Most likely. That isn't accurate.
Yeah, that is very accurate. I would like to say that you'll see me in the streets, but you probably won't.
on the street.
You probably won't. No, like I said, on my bed eating ice cream.
Simps.
And with that, the Simps are out. Psych, we just kidding. Good night, everybody.